last year we was, lacking that depth at cornerback. So, just building, like I said, just trusting Andrew and, the coaching staff and the organization, just to build a great team, give us a chance to compete, for that trophy.
And I know there's other benchmarks to hit before we get to the beginning of camp, but do you fully expect to be ready to go full scale opening of camp?
Yeah, that's what we're working towards. That's the goal, work towards, getting back out there, being 100%, being myself.
Hey, Greedy, after not being able to play last year, do you feel like you kind of have to prove yourself all over again?
Do I have to prove myself? I think the coaches, know what I bring to the table. But every day I'm trying to prove myself to myself. So I'm just competing with myself every day I go out there. To be better than I was yesterday.
And what's it like looking around that secondary? A lot of new faces, right? We saw John Johnson out there and Troy Hill. What's it like seeing all these new guys?
Man, it's amazing, man. We got guys who come in, and play a great role and help the team. So like I said, last year we suffered, with lack of depth in the secondary. So they did a great job of getting guys in, ready to play.
Hey, Grady, we're talking about the new faces. You've got some vocal voices that are new in Anthony Walker, John Johnson. Can you just tell me a little tangibly, what is it like to be on the field with those guys, and what do they bring this defense that maybe hasn't been there the last couple of years?
Yeah, A-Walk, he one of the guys, gonna talk through the whole play. So, just playing with him, a guy that's talking, and that just build confidence to the defense. We need that, just to have that one leader on the field, just to bring that confidence to the defense. And John, he Rihanna, he kind of funny, but when we on the field, it's all serious and business. So definitely those two guys, is great leaders, for this team.
Hey, Grady, we keep hearing about these benchmarks you have to reach. What benchmarks specifically are we talking about before you're cleared for contact?
Right now, I'm just going through, strengthening phase, getting the strength back into the shoulder. So, whatever they have for me next, that's kind of a question for like the medical guys.
Hey, Greedy, I know you spent time with Grant during their rehabs last year. How motivated do you think he is to make up for not being able to play as a rookie?
Yeah, you just said it. Yeah, he didn't play as a rookie. So, coming in, you just want to prove yourself off the bat. And, he kind of had a setback. But, with me and him rehabbing together, we kept each other in high spirits. And, all we saying, we're going to be back next year.
And we saw him out there today for the first time doing anything. How's he look to you?
He look good, man. He look like he's ready to go. He got bigger, faster. I ask him every day, how his leg feeling, how the injury feeling, and he telling me, he give me positive feedback, which I want to hear. So
you're up.
You hear Grady talk, and I know you got to see Grant out there today, and certainly we remember the build-up to seeing Grant Delpit last year out at camp, and then what he showed us early on in camp. And you think about what Grady Williams showed you early in his NFL career. And then you go back to last year, and you think of the day they both went down on the same day.
Same day.
And then you look crazy. And you never would have thought. You just never would have thought ever. And you think back to what Joe Woods was able to do with that secondary and how well we were able to play. Remarkable.
That's why I said
really remarkable.
It was remarkable, and now he's going to have all the tools that he wanted to have to play his defense. We keep talking about, he came on the show, said we played 16 snaps of dime. I want to play more than 400 snaps of dime.
Right.
And so I think Joe Woods, what he did last year is nothing short of remarkable in a very short-handed situation. And I think it was one of the better coaching jobs. And people gave him a lot of grief. But people who, like for Joe Thomas, for example, who has played in the league, played obviously here in Cleveland, and knew what Joe Woods was about and played against Joe Woods' defenses, he couldn't believe the effectiveness that Joe Woods coaxed out of this team. Now he's got everything that he could possibly want. So I think that the bar and the expectations are and should be high for this defense and for what they're going to be able to accomplish, because you're loaded up front, you're loaded on the back end, and you stole one of the premier athletes in this draft in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in the second round. You bring in a guy who's been a tackling machine on one of the best defenses in the league for the last couple of years in Indianapolis, and Anthony Walker. You've got Phillips developing. You've got pass rushers everywhere. You've got blitzers at all three levels, guys who have been effective, proven blitzers throughout their careers. It's an exciting thing. It's an exciting thing, and the Browns are going to be able to disguise. And I remember talking with Kurt Warner prior to the draft that when you can disguise pre-snap, these guys are so good. You need to make them take a beat post-snap, and that's when you have a chance, even against the greats, and that's what the Browns defense has the potential to be able to do on a consistent basis.
It's really the last weapon that a defense has, isn't it? It's the last split second of disguise. They've taken everything else away. They've taken away the danger of hitting the quarterback. There's nothing to be feared there. You're not going to get low. You're not going to get hit low. You're not going to get hit high. They've taken away the fear of certainly you remember, you're a man, you're 40.
Sure.
Who's got the guts to go over the middle on Ronnie Lott or Steve Atwater? Who's got the guts to go over the middle? Because you get decked.
Yep.
Well, there's no fear of that anymore.
It's not a part of the game anymore.
That's gone.
Yep.
That's not part of the game. So the only thing that you have left is subterfuge.
That's right.
it.
Great
All
word.
you've got. So
Great word.
well, every once in a while. But that's it. That's all you got. And we were talking about this yesterday, and it was one of the guests we had, and you just go look, folks, there's like about 6 guys on our secondary who all look this, and linebackers, if you want to add Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who from a height and weight are all similar. We have a bunch of guys who are like 6'2", 225.
Owusu-Koramoah
who are going to play.
6'2", 221. Ronnie Harrison, 6'3", 215. Montrell Meander, who is a safety linebacker hybrid, I'll throw in 6'2", 215. Tony Fields, 6'1", 222. John Johnson, 6'1", 210. Elijah Benton, who's in that safety room as well, 6'1", 205. Anthony Walker, 6'1", 230. Max, 6'1", 230. Taki, 6'1", 230. Jacob Phillips, 6'3", 225. 228, it says.
Yeah.
Who
Give me
might miss
Delpit.
it? Where's Delpit? 22. Delpit, 6'3", 210. And he's bigger than that now.
You see what I'm saying?
He's big. I
You
do see
all
what you're
that?
saying.
See what we're saying, though? How many guys between 6'1" and 6'3", between 215 and 230?
A lot. A
Lot.
lot.
So that's on purpose. So when you're a quarterback, and now you start factoring in, and we haven't done it yet this year, but I think even JOK wearing 28 is confusing
Yes.
for quarterbacks.
I think it
like,
is,
don't
too.
minimize it. That's why Brady was upset about it. Because he used to be able to say, okay, that's a linebacker, that's a safety, that's this. You start mixing the numbers around. Johnson wears 43. We got linebackers in the 40s.
Yep. Taki's 44.
It's confusing.
Yep.
Where are you coming from? So those type of things, that's what it's going to allow. And that's really the last bit of defenses have to stop these high-powered offenses. And from a body type, we've got a lot that are similar. A lot of them that are similar.
Boy, do we. Boy, do we. And I think that's exciting. And I think the person who first said that to us, if I'm not mistaken, was John Johnson when I interviewed him after we signed him. He was the one who said we have guys with all these similar body types and skill sets in the safety room. And he was talking about himself, Ronnie, and Grant.
Might have been.
It was.
Might have been that. I remember it. I remember I took note of it, and then we started to think about it, and then when we talked to Joe, and he was talking about the amount of snaps and dime versus base, and the idea of the 3 safeties, and people saying, well, how are you going to play 3 safeties? Well, if you can't tell if they're a safety or a linebacker, that's how you're going to play 3 safeties.
Right.
And that's how it's going to work. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be fun to see it next week, a little bit, just in a very little bit, a little taste next week when the offense gets here as well. Certainly one of the key components to all of this is John Johnson III. Absolute theft to get him in here, one of the best safeties in the NFL. He'll be wearing number 43 for you. He will be on the program coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, second hour here on a first Friday of Cleveland Browns Daily. Imagine kicking back in the evenings in your very own hot tub. Now imagine actually being able to afford one. Well, Northeast Factory Direct buys hot tubs by the truckload. You get a 6-person hot tub with the lounger and the lights. You can still afford summer activities. Think about owning that hot tub and you think perhaps, well, maybe that would be a pain. Well, at Northeast Factory Direct, it's not, because their hot tubs come with exclusive hard top covers, so you don't have to worry about safety or convenience. Plus, you're going to get a lifetime warranty on the cover. And if you're looking for a way to stay active, they have these amazing new swim spas. It's like a hot tub, but you can adjust the jets to give you a gentle current, and you can use them year-round. That's the key. See for yourself. Check them out. West 140th Street in Cleveland, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, or Freeway Drive in Macedonia, or online anytime at northeastfactorydirect.com. You and I were talking in the break about John Johnson III, and it's funny, even talking to Browns fans and people who love the team but maybe aren't, not a whole lot of people follow it the way we do, obviously.
Sure.
And obviously we have great fans, but I don't know that they follow the league at large. And I think there's a real lack of understanding for how good John Johnson is.
I think that is 100% accurate, because he kind of, on that defense, he was a little anonymous. You would think the first people you think, you got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, but he's a stud, and that he's a big reason why Pro Football Focus says that we now have the #1 secondary. And many people think he was one of the most consequential free agent signings of the offseason period this year.
He was, I think PFF had him the third best safety in football last year.
Right, that wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah, so, for just so you understand what you're getting and what we got with John Johnson III, and then in addition to that, factor in that he's the guy who called the defense for the Rams. He was the green dot.
Yeah.
So it's heady stuff, guys, when you're talking about JJ3, and it's awesome to have him a part of this team. He was available this morning as well. Let's have a listen.
Hey, John, good to see you, man. Why?
You're down.
I know this is all voluntary. Why was it important for you to be here?
Oh, anytime, I'm the new guy now, so just a new defense, new scheme. It's one thing, studying it on film and on paper, but I wanted to get out here, get with the guys, and actually see it on the field, just to get more comfortable before minicamp.
So how's it look?
Oh, it's looking good. Everybody's getting comfortable. Surprisingly, pretty clean for the early stages. I know a couple guys, it's their first week as well, so it's pretty clean and it's going well and we're moving in the right direction.
In the past, in talking to people out in LA, you've always been a vocal leader. Is that easy for you then to come in and do? Is that just who you are? I
think so. It's coming around. The first day I kind of, I was surveying, scanning, just feeling guys out. I feel more comfortable now just talking and making my presence felt. So it'll come, as we move along. But yeah, I think it's just natural, just my personality. I love talking trash, competing. So I just like having fun, and it's gonna pay off.
Hey, John, good to see you. Hey, last time we talked to you after you signed, you were telling us you're gonna, try to get in contact with Grant Delpit and Ronnie Harrison. I'm just wondering, how's that gone? What have you learned about those guys since you signed? And, do you have any little bit of a first impression on what Grant Delpit looks like coming back from the big injury we saw him out there practicing today?
Oh, yeah. First impression, extremely smart guys, intellectual. Football IQ is very high, and that's, how I think I play. So we'll get along very well. But, Grant's coming back. I've heard nothing but great things. He's working hard to get back. He's moving around out there. Looks good, kind of slowly easing him in. But I think we should be full tilt going into training camp, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Hey, John, as a team leader, is there any advice you could give Greedy Williams as he finishes up this rehab from that injury?
Yeah, just attack each day, each rep, one at a time, and continue to get better. He's a natural talent. So if he really locks in on just getting better and working on the things that he doesn't do so well, which aren't many things. So just each rep, each day, one at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself, and just get 1% better each day, and he'll be a tremendous player for a long time.
Hey, JJ3, is it too early to project what Joe Woods' 3 safety look will look like? Do you know what the final product might look like yet, or are you learning it? We got plenty of time before that, but we've heard a lot about his hopes of incorporate all 3 of you safeties on the field together.
Yeah, I think it's a little early, a little premature. Once we get into game planning, I think it'll be different every week, honestly. But when you got three guys that can go, that can play, that can play, it's a lot. It's easy to create schemes and create blitzes, create patterns, coverages that we can all play and match up against different people. So I think during the season is when it'll really take full effect. But right now, I think it's just moving around, playing different spots for everybody out there in the field, not just the safeties, nickels, corners, dime linebackers, just seeing what we can do, how well we move, and stuff like that. So I think during the season, it'll probably get exotic.
Hey, John. I was wondering, I know last time we talked to you, the Browns had already made some moves on defense, but then Jadeveon Clowney followed, and then they draft, Greg Newsome and Jeremiah. So what did you think of all the moves that kept coming after your signing?
Oh, it was definitely, I felt like a defense-heavy vibe. I don't know if that's what it is on paper, but that's the vibe that I got. And, I think it's good. You got to attack the things that you felt like you lacked on in the past and in the previous season. And apparently that was, the defensive side. A few things I know, like certain third down, certain distances we were not so well at. Fourth down, we had to get better. In the red zone, we had to get better. So bringing the guys in that that can do it. You've seen them do it, especially, like Clowney, Troy Hill. It's on tape. So bring guys in that can play and help a culture of a team is awesome. So I think that's what the Browns were attacking.
With all those new faces, is there a concern that it's going to take a while for everybody to gel and get comfortable with each other?
I don't think it's a concern, but it's definitely something that you got to be proactive about. And that's why, a couple of guys came this week, to stay on top of things before minicamp. And then going into training camp, we'll be firing more comfortable, and we can build that foundation so that we can actually, start working on this beautiful house that we're about to build.
Coming from a number one defense like you did, what kind of vibe are you getting so far about just how good this defense can be?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. The schemes, they're always going to be different. All of them work. And the number one thing is the players. It's always been about the players. And walking into this building, we got the players to do that, to get to that level. Even the guys here now, I know some guys are still missing or they're gone for the week, but we've got the guys on paper to do it. So it's really just going out there, practicing, becoming great at what we do, being technicians.
10 seconds.
The sky's the limit. I've seen some things, ranking, projecting that we will be a great defense, but we're going to put this work in. We're going to keep building. I think the sky's the limit for us.
You're up.
Just hearing him talk.
I love him. Love him.
Oh, I was telling you, like they come from different parts of the country, but from a just so self-confident, so self-assured, so everything they say so pointed. There's a lot of Jarvis in him.
Yep.
There is. Just that, yeah, I know exactly who I am. Like he's quick. He has not played a snap. And the 43 is quickly moving up my list of, like, if you do, like, all right, Browns fans, go buy these jerseys, like jersey endorsed, I'll endorse you buying these jerseys, and we got a lot. Like, he would be one where, and that's a tough list to crack, you start to thinking that might be a good one. You rocking that 43 might be okay.
I think you're going to be just fine, and I think he is not only a great player, he's clearly a great leader. He has a natural charisma to him. He gave me one of my all-time quotes that I will never forget in the history of my time here, a decade with the Browns, when he said, "Why would I chase a few dollars and pass up on the opportunity of a lifetime to play for the Cleveland Browns?" So, yeah, I think that you're safe, pal, as I like to say, when it comes to getting a 43. I think he's going to be a star in this defense. Yep. And ironically, you'd say, how can a guy who's been on a Rams team with all this pub, get more notoriety playing for the Browns? I think he will. I think he will become a household name playing for us, which is insane considering he was playing in Los Angeles. But I do. I think because of the passion of our fans, this defense will be built in many ways for him. We are going to be a team of prominence. Not that the Rams were. They were. And you'd say, well, listen, you got, you could say Miles is the Aaron Donald of our defense. Denzel's the Jalen Ramsey. He's going to still get lost. I don't think he's going to get lost in the shuffle here because our fans know and appreciate great football. And I just think that in Cleveland, that's the kind of guy that becomes a legend. You know, there's a reason.
Just like Jarvis has.
Just like Jarvis, exactly.
It's the parallel.
Yep.
Yeah, you can keep drawing them, and you hit on it, pal. You think about it from this perspective. You talk about our fans. I mean, his ascent with the Rams happened on the West Coast in a closed house.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't play in front of anybody.
Yeah.
Him here in this defense with Joe Woods? Come on, man. In this division.
And he's been good for a couple of years now, but I think, he's the guy. I don't know if we can hear. There you are. All right. I didn't hear you for the last.
Was I on? You're still up. You're on.
I'm on, right?
No, we're still up. We're still up because you were. Yeah. All right. So we're here. We're you and I. We're talking over the airwaves right now. You're up, Beau.
What happened?
Beau wasn't producing any audio for about the last minute. I didn't hear him at all. I don't know if anybody else. If you were hearing him, Gibby, that's what I was trying to say. I couldn't hear Beau. He can't hear me. So we'll get this all sorted up, and we'll be back with more Cleveland Browns Daily right after this.
Something like football can be a problem. If you're obsessing over gambling, it can be dangerous, so do something to take your mind off it. If you want some tips on what that could be, go to keepitfunohio.com. for great ways to keep gambling fun. A couple of things around the league on this fine first Friday. Let's start with this. The NFL and Ian Rappaport releasing this morning. The NFL seeks a partner city for games in Germany. So regular season games being played in Germany. I've never traveled to Europe. How much further is, say, Munich than London?
Oh, boy. I connected through Munich when we went to Croatia, and I want to say it was from Chicago, because we went through Chicago, 8, maybe 9.
Okay.
So not substantially
terribly
different.
more.
No.
Okay, not terribly further. I was talking to Nate Davis at USA Today, who oddly enough covers the NFL, and oddly enough grew up in Germany in the 90s when the World League was going on, and shared with me that he, in Frankfurt, with the Frankfurt Galaxy, that they would routinely draw 100,000 people for World League games.
Wow.
And that there was that type of passion for the game in Germany.
That is a passion. Significant passion.
Yeah. And so on a one-off, why not? If there's a market there that'll take it on a one-off, it's hard for me to imagine anything more than that. But for a one-off, I could see how it would be. It might be a home run.
Absolutely. And there is a passion for the game there. You're just getting into so many logistical things, though. I just think it's just not that easy. Now, people would say, all right, if you do 2 East Coast teams, is it that much different than going from L.A. to New York? No, not that much different, but it also is quite different. From a time zone standpoint, it's different. Instead of 3 hours difference, it's, I think, 6 from the East Coast, 9 from the West Coast. But I get it. I understand. You're growing the game, bringing in new fans wherever you can. But it makes it a little bit tough. And perhaps, when they get to, and as you've said, it's going to go there, right? 18 games, keep a nice even number. Maybe that's where they'll set up the 18th game will be an international game. Each team will play one every year. I don't know.
Yeah, it could end up being like that. It's interesting. He was also saying something that he said, that maybe ideally they put a division over there, put 4 teams in Europe and do it that way. And that way, and I'm like, boy, I just can't imagine that there'd be 4 markets that could do it.
No. And they can't just play each other all season.
No. Not just other than London, I just don't know. And I think the only way you could do London is with 2 teams.
You have a team,
so you could even then. Are you surprised that Toronto has not been in play?
I think
for expansion or for relocation. I mean, there was flirtation with Buffalo.
The Bills have played some games up there. I don't know. Don't you think that there are plenty of cities in this country that would be thrilled to have an NFL team?
Yeah, but I don't know that there are that many that can actually do it. Like Toronto is a very wealthy city and one that would have that would open up new dollars. You could put a team back in St. Louis, or something like that, but is that really going to be a game changer from a financial standpoint, whereas maybe Toronto would be. Maybe you open up a big market there. Maybe you feel like you already have Toronto with Buffalo. That might be the feeling.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like a team could Oklahoma City. I think it is crazy given what football means.
I don't think that would work.
What football means in the South. And I know there isn't a huge city that jumps off the map, but that there's not an NFL team, and maybe it's because they just love college so much, in Mississippi or Alabama.
There's not enough population in Mississippi. Birmingham would be the best, but you just
a season ticket holder, the Birmingham Bolts of the XFL.
Right, yeah. I think probably the warning sign against that is Jacksonville. That when you try to go to college markets that are used to winning 9 out of 10 weeks, that have built-in fan bases through generations of alumni, it's really hard to break in, even for the NFL. Even for the NFL, it's very difficult. I don't know if there is another. I mean, the markets that jump out to me are the ones that have had it before: San Diego and Oakland.
Sure.
The fact that they're not in those places is pretty strange. St. Louis has had teams twice, and twice gone.
You don't think Oklahoma City would work? I felt like they were after Katrina when the Saints were there. People were pretty into it.
Saints were in San Antonio.
Oh, well then maybe
it
San
was
Antonio.
The Hornets that were.
There you go.
Hornets were in Oklahoma City. No, because Oklahoma City is Boomer Sooner.
And they wouldn't care enough.
They wouldn't Norman's
care
20 minutes
about pro football.
No, they would, but it's, again, it's building something from scratch versus something that's established for 100 years that wins all the time. It's just really hard to, to overcome that. Orlando would be one that maybe, there's a ton of population there.
Always get good road trips. You'd always have people come for road trips.
Yeah. There aren't that many. And let's just say this. I feel very comfortable saying this. Of the cities that don't have NFL teams, the most financially secure one that we've talked about is Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Without question.
That's
a wealthy international city.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that you go there, and that team would have a potential to really be a monster. I do believe that. If they won and they had some success early, they'd have a chance to be a monster and really have a foothold in the market, certainly. All right, we finally found out, and I thought this was interesting. You see Julio Jones is going to wear number 2 for the Titans? I thought for sure he'd go 8.
Number 2?
Number 2.
What was there any reason given? Who is number 8 on the Titans? Is that already like a Brett Kern?
I don't.
Punter
Well,
or something?
Mariota wore it. Wore it.
Yes,
I don't know if there was somebody else with it. My guess is you could have kicked him out of it. What I think is interesting is there was all the conjecture that the big back,
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry wore 2 at Alabama.
Yeah.
And everybody thought that he would go to 2
right.
with Tennessee. Like, I think he still wears it as a practice jersey. So I guess that closes the door on that. He must have the assumption was that as soon as they, to make him not have to buy all the old jerseys up, that they would wait a year before allowing him to go to 2. But now Julio's going with 2. And instantly becomes the most famous number 2 in the NFL.
Is there not a quarterback that of note? I can't think of one off the top of my head. But I would probably.
Well, football wore it here. I don't know. There aren't that many 2s. Tim Couch wore it here.
No.
There aren't that many 2s out there. I feel like there might be somebody I'm missing, but I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
No, me neither. By the way, did you see on Pro Football Talk, Kareem Jackson, the former Texans defensive back, says that Deshaun Watson wants to play for one team, and that team is the Denver Broncos. No thanks.
Really?
No thank you.
That's the one, huh?
That's
the only one left. There's nobody else that has capital. He'd rather have them than Miami. Which one do you think's better?
If I were him, take me to Denver. Yeah. It's a great football town. They love the Broncos. You've got Judy, Sutton, Hamler,
they're loaded.
Fant, Javonte Williams just drafted. Loaded. That's where I would want to go. But here's what Jackson said. He was talking to Aqib Talib. Said, I have a great relationship with Deshaun. This is a quote. I've been talking to him the last couple of weeks, man, and all he's been telling me is look, Jack, just tell them that's where I want to be. I want to be in Denver.
I mean, Denver has a package that would very easily could get that deal done.
Yep.
You could give 2 good position players, a young receiver. You give them Hamler if you wanted to. You wouldn't even have to. You wouldn't have to go shoot that high, but you could. You give them one of the defensive players. They get a great secondary. Give them draft picks. And honestly, it wouldn't even take that much now.
No, I mean, there's a little bit of the unknown factor. Why is everybody good coming? In this case, you'd be staying in the AFC. But what are we doing?
Do you think that the deal that was going to be made was Carolina? Because I do. I think the deal that was going to be made was Carolina. And once this happened, Carolina pivoted. I mean, he played at South Carolina. It's close. I mean, to me, that felt like the deal that was going to be done. We were always waiting on the Miami deal, but I don't know that Houston must not have had any part of Tua, or maybe Miami really believes in Tua, which would take a lot of belief.
Maybe. Apparently they do. Boy, would it. It sure would take a lot of belief. I don't know. It does feel like they were pursuing something, were rebuked, and said, okay, let's go get Sam Darnold. So that there could be something to that. He might not want to go back there either. Now all of a sudden it's pretty attractive, though. You think about Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey. They draft Terrace Marshall Jr. They've got DJ Moore, who's a stud. It's not it's a fairly enticing package. Denver, though.
And you could grow with a young team. Denver's the spot. I mean,
Denver's
that's the
correct.
spot we've talked about with Rodgers, and
yeah.
I just don't want him in the conference at all.
By the way, I know that you said on your Columbus show, speaking of Rodgers, which made me think of Green Bay, which got me to AJ Hawk. Did you guys discuss that unbelievable admission from yesterday?
Not only, I also spoke with someone who has ridden in a car with AJ Hawk.
I would imagine that would be
occasions.
possible for you. Yeah.
And in fact, yeah, that's real.
So what troubles me about the setup to that is that you said I spoke with someone who has ridden in a car with him, and then the next part's what really concerned me. Multiple occasions. That sounds to me like a one and done. I'm not getting in a car with you again because this is actually what the case, the state of things.
Yes.
Or I'll drive.
I told Bob, I said, Bob, this is insane. It's insane. And he goes, oh, yeah, I tell him all the time. He's like, no, it just means I'm better. I have to overcome all of this. He goes, he's been saying that for years. Jeez. Crazy. Craziness.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's got a pretty solid career earnings. He's now a regular. Like, let's have a driver here.
Well,
let's have a driver.
Well, or at the very least, at the very least, get Tesla.
Get a car
get
that drives.
Get the Cybertruck.
Sure.
And get it. Let it autopilot you around. I mean, do that at the very least. You know, a little bit there. But yeah, I can confirm that is a fact. Also, some news on the LeBron James front. Gibby will like this. He's going to change from number 23 to number 6 with the Lakers, which makes no sense because they tried doing this when they signed Anthony Davis, but he didn't want to pay what. Remember at the time Nike said, okay, fine, but you got to buy all this inventory, and he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And so he stuck with 23. Now Anthony Davis has been there through his second year, and now he's going to switch to 6.
I guess it's around Space Jam 2. That's the number he's going to wear.
Well, that was always his practice uniform, and he wore it even here the first time, and he wore it in Miami. And, he wore 23 back when he was here. I think we were shocked he wore 23 with the Lakers.
Yeah.
But he did. I thought for sure he'd wear 6 and just have 23 be here. I wonder, and I was on this.
Wasn't Davis 23 too? So he could have been 6.
Davis was 23 in New Orleans.
Right.
Then when Davis went to the Lakers, he was going to wear 23. LeBron was going to wear 6. The NBA and Nike said, "Okay, LeBron, you can go to 6, but you got to buy out this inventory."
Yep.
So if you think the inventory for like Derrick Henry is high, can you imagine the LeBron James jersey inventory? What that would cost to buy out, right?
Yeah.
So he'll go to 6, and I part of me wonders, and I had this, I nailed this. Kobe went from 24 to 8, or 8 to 24 rather. And now both of his numbers are retired by the Lakers. Like, think about that. Like he's got 24 and 8 retired.
Yes.
I'm wondering if LeBron's thinking similarly.
He's not there long enough.
Congratulations on your one and only
championship.
championship.
He's not a Laker. He's not a Laker.
I know he's not a Laker, but he's going to get a number retired. He's a top 3 player of all time. His number's going to be retired as a Laker for sure, one of them. But you can't have them both.
He's not a Laker.
They're not going to retire 23 and 6.
By the way, Dwayne the Tub with an interesting bit of fact-finding for us. The best quarterback to wear number 2 in the NFL is Matt Ryan.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So is that a little shot at Matt Ryan? Is this a little – is there something to that?
I hope not. I mean, they played together for a long time. You would think that there would
but
be.
Matt Ryan
maybe it's more respect.
He had a nickname for him that was apparently not the kindest. Can't say it on this air.
Please don't. Don't ruin my Wednesday.
I'm not
/ First Friday.
No, we won't do it.
I'm not going to.
I don't even know what Wednesday is. All right, we'll play a little better or worse on the quarterbacks coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And if your game plan for this season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. Time for a little better or worse or sweet spot. Hey, Gibby.
Bo, first Friday, and yeah, I
Yep.
believe you have it wrong.
Right.
It's higher or lower or just right.
Do I?
I would agree.
It's better or
I know
worse.
you're preoccupied with your projects
Or sweet spots.
so maybe you got distracted from
half the
what
project.
it's really
Half
called.
the team came back. Half the team came back.
I gotta tell you,
Two people's not half the team.
It's-
I feel like
It's pretty funny
No,
to be
one left. That's half.
It's pretty funny to be the innocent bystander. Gibby attacks are usually directed solely at me. To see one come at you is really entertaining.
Right. Yeah.
never know where they're
Suffering
coming
slings
from.
and arrows.
Yeah, it's slinging.
How we doing?
Great. How
Pretty
are
good.
you?
Hey, you know,
Hey,
Looks
did
like
you
you're going to
guys,
get the rain to hold off for golf league.
it's scramble day, and it's the champions dinner tonight.
It's a little dark out here in God's country. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but I mean,
It's
I guess
dark.
that would mean that it's past you or not.
No, and there's still like a 35% chance we're going to see something, but not
Yeah.
like last week.
I was
when
going
just
through
played in a
that.
straight out monsoon.
I was going through that with the blonde today about the 35% chance of rain. What really matters is when.
When? That's right.
Right?
I
it's
need
not
to know
so
the hours.
important.
Yeah.
It can be a 100% chance of rain, but if it's 4:00 in the morning, what do I care?
Who
Yeah.
cares?
You really have to look at the hourly forecast. You can't look at the big picture day forecast anymore.
No.
All right,
No.
real quickly, guys.
And there's always a confusion anyway, because when you hear 30% chance of rain in the television world, at least, like you'd watch the meteorologists and you'd say 30% chance of rain, that doesn't mean that it's a 30% chance it'll rain where you are. It means that 30% of the demographic will get rain. Does that make sense? That's how the TV models did it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
This is
no
almost
kidding.
as good as taping on Wednesday night.
True story. So, when I was in television, and a meteorologist would say it's 40% chance of rain, what they're saying is that 40% of the viewing area will get rain. Not that it's a 40% chance that you on the east side of Cleveland will get rain, but that 40% of the viewing area will get rain. That's what they're saying.
At
That's what they were
100%?
saying. What's that? 40% will 100% get rain.
They don't know that. That's outrageous. I don't believe
That's
that.
what they were forecasting. That's what the forecasting was. It's one of the biggest misconceptions. True story.
I mean, I believe you, but this sounds idiotic.
Now we need to get a weatherman on.
Because when they say there's a 40% chance of rain, that should mean that, in my mind, that there's a 60% chance of no rain. Not that 60% of the people watching this program won't get rain and 40% will.
40%. That's the way that it is. Well, it was. That's the way it was when I was in the television. That's the way that it was.
What is going
Also,
This is
only
like
comfortable.
my brain's leaking out of the back of my head. Honestly, this is one of the most stupefying
What I was
things
told.
I've ever heard in my life.
Now, it's possible they were pulling wool over my eyes. That's possible.
I feel like
but I don't
somebody
think
was
so.
the-
He's a good friend of mine. Very good friend.
But
I
who
don't
do you
think that
who do you
they
put
would-
your best jokes on? You're good friends.
I don't think so. No, because this was not a
think about
jokey
the
joke.
logistics
Not a
of
jokey
that.
joke
So
type friend.
That's saying that they're going to take, with a fine-tooth comb, a geographic map, break it into a percentage of where they're guaranteeing rain. Because now we're in the guaranteeing rain
Right.
over a certain percentage of people. By the way, when they say there's a
Yeah.
10% chance of rain, that's saying that there's going to be one cloud that's going to hit 10% of your city? 100%
No,
of the
the
time?
10% of the area, the viewing area, will get rain.
Only 10%,
It will
though.
rain.
But 100%
Yeah.
guarantee that there will be a small
Because it's where it will
cylinder
be,
of rain.
where the rain will be located, will affect 10% of it.
There's no way that you could say with
That's what it
100%
is.
certainty that only 10% of a metropolitan area is going to suffer rain and the
Well,
other
they're not saying
90% will be
100%
without
certainty
rain.
of anything. They're not saying 10%. They're not saying 100% of certainty of anything.
No,
it's
that's
all
not
a
what you
guess.
said earlier. We said earlier
They're
is if it's 40%, 40%
No,
are
they're
going to get rain
saying
100% of the time on that day, 60% won't.
Their belief is that when they say 40%, that 40% of your demographic will get rain. That's what they're saying. When they say 40% chance of rain. That's what they're saying.
I need
Not that
I need
you
I need a weatherman.
individually on the
I
east
need a
side
weatherman.
are saying that.
All right.
I know that, but I'm saying,
I'll
think
throw
about
the bad
the
signal out.
difficulty of forecasting that. That sounds crazy. Because let's say it's a 90%
I don't think it is that
chance
crazy.
of rain.
Think about
Who are
how
the
big a
10%?
demographic is.
Who are the 10%
So
in the
if you're-
90%
if
scenario?
Well, it would depending where they are on the map. Think about if you're doing the weather here.
Right.
You're representing everywhere from Cleveland to Canton.
Okay.
Everywhere east, always almost to like Port Clinton, all the way west to like Port Clinton, all the way east, almost to Youngstown. Like you're covering that whole demographic.
Well, they show now
huge
the
space.
amount of precipitation expected in each city. I'm just
It
saying
could have changed.
That seems
It's been 6 years
it
since I've been in the
sounds a lot
business.
like a certain
but that's what it
cologne
was.
That what is it? 50% of the time it works
No,
every
it's
time.
Not 60% of the time it works every time.
That's what you're saying. If there's a 50% chance of rain, that 50% of the viewing area is a 100% going to get hit with rain.
It also goes with the partly cloudy is mostly sunny, and mostly cloudy is partly sunny.
That's right, Kid Bay. I'm fascinated by this. If this is true,
yeah,
I will have been 42, almost 42
I
years,
believe it to be
11
true.
months.
Now,
25
I don't know that
days
it was.
old when
You're
I
not
learned
alone.
this, when I found this out.
You're not alone. Also, many people think that a 10-day forecast is something that you can hold people to. Turns out you can't.
Nobody thinks that.
It's a
They
2-day
shouldn't.
forecast.
Yeah,
is the
they
best
don't know
they can
anything until 2 days out. Exactly.
Yeah. The late great Chris Bradley told me all this when I was down at the Channel 10 down in Columbus.
We need a weatherman on this show. I need to know this. If this is really what's
It could
happening,
be different now. I mean, it's possible the models.
But
have
maybe
changed.
they heard it. We've had a lot of weather legends in this town that I'm sure have passed their knowledge down to the new breed of weather
Could be.
person. It's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me, and especially on a 90%
I stand by
day.
it. I believe he told me the truth.
Is it the real truth? Was there a party that was like?
By the way, Discovery.com, Gabe Werner. He's right, Zegura.
What do you mean? Because he's on Discovery.com? If it's
Go
on
look
the
at your
internet,
Twitter.
it must be true.
Discovery.com.
My buddy says,
Yeah.
according to his ex-cousin something.
Didn't you work at the Weather Channel, Gibby?
She taught meteorology, and she's like, I think Beau's right on this.
This is unbelievable.
Dude,
right.
I just chased tornadoes.
True.
I did not.
I'm telling you, this is how they did it. Like, I was in this
precipitation
business. There is a lot of misdirection in this business.
But my point would be,
A lot.
as a viewer, I don't give a crap if 40% of the people in your viewing area are getting rain. Am I getting rain? That's all I want to know. What's the percent chance that I
in
get
your
rain?
in your mind, just wrap that around yourself. Let's just examine that. In your world,
Yeah.
the guy who's doing the meteorology
Yeah.
at Fox 8 or Channel 5 or whoever, Channel 3, whoever, 19, pick one. I don't want to pick favorites. Pick one. I don't
Channel
care.
5.
That guy should be doing a broadcast for you personally?
No. But if you
Not
just
his
tell
whole
me,
audience?
okay, think about the geography that you just laid out that this area covers. If you tell me that 40% of it is going to get rained on and 60% isn't, without providing the information as to which 40% or which 60%, so what?
They've got 3 minutes, Coach.
Listen, that's why they have the things now that
No,
put
weather
the
people have
precipitation.
weather people
have all the time in the world.
5 or 6 minutes.
They're
like
in
the
every.
most watched
They're in every
segment in
news. They're in every
They get a little
news. Morning,
This
noon,
is-
afternoon,
I'm
evening,
telling you,
night.
this is what it is. You could take all the images you want. This is how they do it.
I think that's wild.
That's what it represents.
Weather, pets, everything else.
That's why you need now. That's
The
why you
real
need
truth.
dark sky. What's happening where I'm standing?
Because that tells you what, right.
That's
because
what
that
I
tells you
need.
where you are. The
That's
radar
right.
where you are.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I still feel like maybe that's true that they think 40%, but they're saying it's a blanket chance. If you're in this viewing area, there's a 40% chance that you're going to be the ones rained on. But it also feels like it's
That's what they're
assuming
saying.
that once a percentage is out there, that it's 100% that percentage is going to be rained upon.
Yeah.
But there are days where it's
That's what they're
40% chance
saying.
of rain, it doesn't rain anywhere. So then is that like it's a total whip?
No, it
Is that
does.
a total
It does
breakdown of the
rain.
situation?
No, it
There
does.
it is where it rains nowhere.
Within 24 hours, it does. It doesn't where you are because you're only concerned with you.
I'm concerned with you and everybody I care about,
This
which
is
is
a
our
pretty
whole
impressive
audience.
scam going if
With
this
our
is-
whole audience.
Yeah.
What do you mean? There are days where it says 4%
Sorry.
chance of
I
rain,
don't mean to-
and it never rains
listen.
anywhere.
I don't want to be the guy who did
So,
this to you.
all right,
I'm
help
sorry
me-
that I did.
Help
It's
me
just the
understand
reality.
this then. Help me understand this. So on weather.com, when it said this morning,
I'm not talking about weather.com.
just listen, I want to know what you're
I'm
saying.
talking
this
about
says.
your local weather guy.
Okay. All right. This morning, the
Not
local weather guy
weather.com, not
said
dark skies.
at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a 60% chance of rain in Bentleyville. Does that mean that 60% of the residents in Bentleyville will be rained upon?
I can't speak to what weather.com
I'm saying a
is
local news
saying.
guy said that.
But he doesn't say that. He's not saying that.
Now he does.
When he gives you his 7-day forecast, he's saying percentages of rain, and that's the percentage of the DMA that's going to get rain. Sorry. Didn't mean to do it.
100% of the time. 30%
of
are you going to get rained on 100%?
100% of the time, they will get rain. That's what they're forecasting.
This is unbelievable.
All right, we're going to
Sorry.
move higher or lower to tomorrow because
Hold on.
like
I'm sorry.
I'm told Zachary Boley says this theory started with a TikTok video and a meteorologist has debunked it.
No, that's not true.
That's what he says.
I mean, I'm
we're
sure.
relying on
Okay,
TikTok.
so I
We
cite.
got bigger problems.
I'm citing the Discovery Channel, and you're doing a TikTok video.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not citing a TikTok channel. I think this
You're
is
there you go.
This is
That's
the
it.
greatest. I'm like, today is
This
now
is
a great
this is
day.
This has been told to me, who was in the television business from 2001 to 2015.
Multiple Emmys.
multiple meteorologists have said this to me, have explained this to me, that's how it is. And it's one of the biggest misconceptions with people who watch the local news. Now, it's possible that now they can do a more dialed in. I mean, again, I haven't been in the business for 6 years.
This is just, it's
But that's what it was.
mind-boggling. I'm not saying I know what they're saying or
Clearly.
not. I'm not ever saying I'm right or wrong about this. I'm just saying I think it's a mind-boggling way to look at it. My question now is, when they said, because they did this when I was a kid too, that there was, for example, we were going to the A's game, and the forecast said there's a 40% chance of rain. Does that mean 40% chance of rain on 40% of the stadium? That the stadium falls within the 40% portion?
Yeah. In 1990, they were doing foot-by-foot forecasts.
Exactly, they
were.
weren't.
Stadium.
So what did that mean
No,
when they
they
said
were
there's a
saying
40% chance of rain at a baseball
Oakland,
game?
They're saying it's a 40% chance it would rain in Oakland that day. In 40% chance of Oakland, 40% of Oakland would get rain.
All right, so just let me say this. What you just said.
All right, we've done it enough.
But I want
We've
I want to
driven into the ground.
understand. So you're
like,
saying
there's no more. I can't make you understand. There's nothing more I can do. I'm not a meteorologist.
40% of the time
told,
it'll rain
and I
in
believe it to
Oakland
be
that
correct.
day. 60% of the time it won't, or 100% of the time, 40% of Oakland will be rained upon.
I think same. What you
I
just
don't
did is
they
I
are
think
same.
the same.
I don't think they are the same.
I think they're the same. Still so much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, so we'll do better or worse tomorrow, Gibbe? Get to that
higher or
tomorrow
lower, yes.
on the program?
We will do tomorrow.
Get to
At
higher or
about
lower on the program
2:43,
tomorrow?
I was like, yep, this isn't getting in today.
This isn't going to happen.
I'm
Not
so
gonna happen.
excited to hear
Nothing
how
there.
all this is. I'm reading a lot. I'm going to do a lot of research about all this tonight. I'm very
I
excited
look forward
about
to your research and your testimony.
it.
Look forward to
I
that
can tell
tomorrow
you
on the
are.
program.
I can tell. There are.
Good.
So according to sciencenotes.org, there are two schools of thought on this, which are obvious that there
okay.
would be two schools of thought. But the complex, the one
would be.
that your
I
meteorologist.
like how you think it's me who's
no,
telling you
your
that I am
your
doing
meteorologist. It's much more complex.
Right.
Much more complex.
Yeah.
Because they factor the area and the chance of rain given. It's two things. It's not an automatic 100%, but it's a real complex calculation. I'm reading about it right now. It's impressive.
I'm sure it is.
It's more
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you learn something new every day, buddy.
I'm
That's the way it
so
goes.
thrilled.
Yeah, you got it. Are we on the field tomorrow? Or are we done?
No, back
We're
on the field tomorrow.
We're on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so we'll
right.
have some people. We'll hear from some people, perhaps.
No.
I believe Troy Hill.
Troy Hill
gonna
joined the program.
show
Yeah. That's a
he'll
CBD
be on this
exclusive,
show.
though. That's just for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. So you have that to look forward to, which is nice.
3
Enjoy your
defensive
first
touchdowns
Friday,
a year
kids.
ago.
That's a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. Enjoy your first Friday, kids. Act accordingly. Hopefully you don't get rained on in your 40% of the area. Let's hope not. Keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully those baseball games
If you're in
get
that
played.
40%, it's 100%. You're toast.
Well, 100% of you, 40% of you are 100% going to
I
get
actually
rained
think
on.
it's raining
Stop.
outside right now. Curse
See?
word.